Hi guys, welcome back. This is our Prima Spring Farmhouse collection, and while you were gone, I matted this. I guess I should do more of an introduction. We're doing two albums, a rectangular album and a square album, and last time around we finished most of the work on the pages for the square album. Pretty much the only thing left was this waterfall. Let me move that aside. And I'll talk a little bit about this, what I did with this. I was going to film this morning while I was doing it, but I had a repairman here and I just couldn't do it. But I wanted to get it done so we could move on. The mats are all squares that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And what you need to do when you lay down these mats is you need to be careful because of these, the corners have been rounded. So you need to be careful with each one because this side's not rounded. So you have to make sure you round the correct side and leave your mat right side up. Right? So on this one, these two corners are rounded, but on this one, these two corners are rounded. Okay? And you'll notice on this one, and only this one, I have the brown cardstock. I haven't done the others yet because I don't know, I don't have very much brown left. The reason for that is I put a magnet here, and that's catching the magnet that we put way down underneath. And I put a very fat magnet there, so you can probably see the magnet bump. Okay, so I have like that, and then we have like that. And as you can see, I haven't done the others yet. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so where we're at now is for both of the books, we really need to think about the binding. And we're going to do a stacked binding in the rectangular book, but in this book, we're going to do a more traditional binding. So let me give you the information for this. I've got it over here on a note. All right, so this you need to cut 7 inches by 5 7/8. Okay, and let me sort of stretch it out so you can see it. And you need to score at 1 inch, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2. Is that right? Hang on, sure. So 1 inch, 1 1/2, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2. I don't know why I thought it was 6. Let's double check. Where's my scoreboard? Could be wrong. Yeah, there's a score mark at 6. So what am I missing? 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2, 6. Okay. Then, and here's where you want to be careful. You have the 1 inch, and then you have another, there's a score mark and 1/2 inch. And you want to leave all of that flat. And then you want to make a peak with the next pair, leave that flat, make a peak with the next pair, leave this one flat, and then make a peak with this one, and then you're going to end up with another 1/2 inch flat and another inch. Okay? Turn it over, and in the valleys of your peaks, put a piece of score tape. This is 3/8 inch score tape, or you can use liquid adhesive, whatever you prefer. And I'm just going to remove the back of the tape and score, burnish. Two of the fins. I call those fins. I don't know what they're technically supposed to be. Just going to warn you right now that my cat drives me crazy, and I've got her outside the door, and she's not happy, so you may hear some banging. All right, and then you want to go ahead and give these good burnish in both directions. You want your binding to be nice and flexible. Okay, and I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to trim our corners down to but not past the score mark of each of the 3 fins. I chose this kind of binding over the other stacked binding because I feel like it just has a little more strength, and given how much we have going on in the square book, I just felt more comfortable having that. Whereas the other book is going to be much more lightweight. There won't be as many embellishments. Can you hear her? That's her chirping outside the door. Okay. Let's just go ahead. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to dry fit these pages. And I still have not decided which is going to be the front page of the book. You know, when you open the book. This was originally supposed to be the front. Then I was kind of leaning towards this, and now I'm back to this. So I'm dithering. You can see how thick these pages are. So I'm just doing a dry fit. Yeah, that should be fine. All right, so then the next step, I'm just burnishing everything here. Okay, is now you have this score line here. You want to turn this to the inside, and same with the other side. Okay, so you're going to end up with these two meeting in the middle, like that. Okay, and so in order to have those stick down, you can either put tape on the actual tabs themselves or in the middle. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the middle. I've got some 1 inch, I think. Let me see. Hang on. Let's see. I'm not sure I have enough for this. I need to order another 1 inch roll. I did get some sheets in my last order from Country Craft Creations. And I think I have a scrap too that probably would have done for this, but probably should have saved this for attaching it to the book, but that's okay. Yep, that was the last piece. Okay. Let's see, I still have some 3/8 we can use. I learned this technique from Tamara at Country Craft Creations for making a neat sort of binding package. So pull that one off. And make sure it's nice and flat. And we're going to fold that over. And we're going to fold this one over the same way. Having trouble getting the back on. Sorry, I realized it just was probably off camera. If you're having trouble getting the backing off your tape, just burnish it. That should help. All right, and again, we want to make sure that's flat. Okay. Now, we have this nice, neat piece that we can put in our book. And I was tempted to put all the pages on it and then put it in the book, but I'm worried about the weight of those pages being a problem. So, in other words, just making it difficult for me to handle it. Let me go ahead hold on to it. I need to add tape. So I'm just going to lay this here just to make sure that it fits. And it actually looks a little bit wide to me. So what I'm going to do, and now that this is glued, you can do this, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off of each side. I just eyeballed that and cut about that much off. There we go, that's good. Then we're going to have to center it top to bottom. So let's go ahead and put our tape on there. And I'll be using my 3/8 inch, which I thought I was out of, but I actually found a little bit left. So I'm not sure you can even see what I'm doing. Putting glue all along, not glue, but tape all along the back of this piece that we just made. Varnish all that. I'm going to pull up just this one because there's that gap there, and I'm going to put down a piece of 1/4 inch to fill that gap. And so far I just have the tape off of there because I want to get an idea. Hang on. I want to center it side to side and top to bottom, which is a little difficult because I still haven't bought lights to help with the shadow that I have in my workspace. I just want to double check. This is 6.5, and this piece, what did I say it was, is 5 3/4? No, 5 7/8. So 5 7/8 and 6.5 is going to give me 5/8. So I want it to be about 5/16 from the bottom. Right, so if I do that there, I don't always measure, but I just feel like, for some reason, I feel like I'm having a hard time visualizing this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn all my tabs to one side so that I really have a good idea. That's about where I want it to be. Now I'm just going to pull the back off the tape for each side. Take it off the side. Overhanging a little, but it doesn't seem to be bothering anything. Good enough. All right. Now, let's burnish that down. sharp point on it. I don't want to leave that rolling around my table. So I'm just going to play with these, move them back and forth. Now I have one, actually this corner is not great, but this corner in particular is not that good. So this is going to be the back. I'm just going to put a note so I don't forget. That's the back. All right. Now, before we move on with that, let's grab our other book, which we haven't seen in a little bit. We've been concentrating. Oops, I turned off one of my lights. There we go. We've been concentrating on the other one. All right. Now, we cut the spine for this one, the binding for this one, quite a ways back. Let's see. Let's try to remember how these are supposed to go. Okay, that was the front page. And I believe that was the second page, I think. This was the third page, and this was the fourth page. Yeah. Okay, so this one has 4 pages, the other one had 3. All right, so now you should already have these pieces cut. Set that aside a little bit. And that's 1 1/4 by 6 7/8. Score 1/2 inch in from each side. And then this one is 1 3/4 by 6 7/8. And again, score 1/2 inch in from each side. All right. Fold that up and burnish it. My tape. Right, and then we'll do the same with this one. Fold it up and burnish it. Right. And then take this narrower one, do the same thing. See, this one's going to have less space between the pages than a square one, but that's okay because we're not planning to do a lot of embellishing and the pages are nowhere near as chunky. Okay, so then we're going to center this on here. So let's go ahead. This should be 1/4 inch. Grab some 1/4 inch score tape and just run it right down the center. You know what I should have done on the other one? I always forget that too. Well, it's all right. It can be done now. We need to put tape on either side of the fins, which I'm going to go ahead and do now. I think I'll use 3/8 though. I'm going to be trimming the end, so I'm not worried about whether I get all the way to the end or not. But what you want to do is keep the tape towards the cut edge, not towards the fold. You can see I've left that little gap that way, because we don't want our pages to sit all the way down in the book. You could use, if you don't want to use score tape to put the pages in the book, you could use your wet glue. That's personal preference. These corners. Okay. All right, now let's go to this one. And we're going to use the same thing. Tape on both sides of these fins. here. I'm looking for my 1/2 inch. You do not have to have every size of score tape. I just happen to have quite a few. More than once I've bought, you know, collections where you got several sizes in the package, and that's where I ended up with some of these sizes that I don't use so often. Okay. Let's go ahead and burnish that and trim. Then we want to take this piece and center it on this piece. All right, I am going to, I'm sorry, I'm just pulling this into where I can see it. Okay, here we go. There, okay. Now, before I go any further with that one, let's go back to the square one, because we have to put the tape on both sides of this. Yeah, that's fine. I'm keeping this tape, again, up towards the fold and away from the spine, because when we put the pages in, they're going to be up a little bit. There's that. Get these out. And let's finish those. Alright, so now we have that book is ready for its pages. Let's get this one ready. So the last thing we have to do with this one is, now why is that so short? Heavens, did I make that too short? Did not. I guess I just left lots of extra space for pages in this book. I actually do usually make my covers quite a bit bigger because I like to be able to put tags and things. All right, but what I'm gonna do, if I've got one, is grab a scrap. So I'm looking for something in a different color. I guess this would work. Just so I get an idea. How far? Let's see. That looks about right. Let's see. Okay, and just gonna burnish where those were overlapping. Then, let's see. Excuse my head if it's in the frame. Oh, that's crooked. Hang on. Just resting that lightly. That looks pretty good. And remember, since we're using score tape, if it wasn't, or if I dropped it or something and it's stuck, you can get it up with undo. That looks good. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's make up our minds. Let's go ahead and do this one first. Just make sure we have everything the way we wanted it. So it's flap, pocket, flap, no pocket because we're going to leave that one. This one is a flap and a pocket. And then this one we did belly band and pocket. Okay, so that's going to be our order. Let's go ahead. I'm going to pull the score tape off one side. Grab my tool here. And now because we have so many flaps, you want to be very careful that you're actually putting the side, you know, the actual spine part onto your book. Now remember, this spine is a little shorter than our pages, so you want to center the page onto the spine. Okay. And let's pull that piece out. Good. Alright, so there's the first page. It's pretty straight. Looks a little bit crooked actually now that I look at it. Let me see. I don't know if it's because the spine is crooked or if that page is crooked, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so this one is next. What I'm going to do with this, normally I make sure to line up all my pages with the previous one, but since I know the previous one is just a little bit crooked, I'm going to try and make this one correct for that just a little bit. It's not off by much, certainly not terribly visibly, but enough so that I want to... Okay, what am I catching on? There's nothing in there, so I'm not sure why it's catching. Let's pick it up. Okay. All right, for some reason that does not want to slide off. I'm not sure what it's hitting. See if we can get a little of the bulk out of the way. I hope you can see that that's not completely blocking your view. It feels like it's bumping something. I don't know what. There we go. Let's see. I bruised that a little bit. I think that was just from me screwing around with it. Might need to trim it a little though. Alright. There we go. This is our second page. Let's hope our third page goes on a little easier. Okay, so this one goes like this. Once again, I'm just checking to make sure I'm putting the actual opening on the spine. Go. Okay. Nice. Okay, that's not fine. Okay. Go. Well, these only have 1/4 of an inch between them, but I'm going to turn this one upside down. Oh, but they're still fine because, like I said, I'm not going to put a lot of flowers and frou-frou and stuff on these pages. Now this one has got so many flaps that I need to make sure I've got just the right opening. Okay, there we go. Now if you remember, this is the page where I'm going to put the picture, oops, this way, of my grandparents. Up just so I can get that burnished down. We still have to put something on the insides of these if we want. All right, there we go. All the pages in this one. And let's see, whoops, is that catching? Whoops, that feels like it's going to catch a little. So we may need to trim just a little bit off that edge. We'll see. Sometimes once it's in, it's pretty good. Awesome. All right, set that one aside. Let's bring this one back in. Remember, I made a mark there because that's going to be the back. And let's see, I think I will go ahead with my original plan and make this the 3rd page. Then, let's see. Just like the other book, this one I'm just going to do a dry fit. Let's see, I'm just trying to get rid of some of that bulk. Okay. It's going to go well, I think. Whoops, it's stuck. Not wanting to go. So this book is going to be tricky to get the pages on just because of all that bulk. Okay. All right, we're going to try another method. I'm going to put this back on. Not the piece that was, but that's, is it this one? And I'm gonna slide this on with that in place and then remove it. See if that works. Okay. It's gonna pop off. It's not really on. That is not centered on the spine. So let's see. Try to decide if I want to keep that there or if I want to get out the undo. Yeah, I'm not real happy with that. Well, it's not really stuck down, so I was able to move it a little bit. Okay, that's better. Alright, now let's go in here. Get that side off. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe we should have put the pages on while it was out of the book. Might have been easier. Okay, let's get that down into place. And sometimes when I've put together books like this where the spine is super bulky, the pages will pop off a little bit at the beginning until they really seal on. Okay, so that's that one. This is going to be the second one, and it is less bulky than that one, so hopefully we will not have as much difficulty with it. You know, I'm going to do this one upside down. So it's going to go this. Let's see. Goes like that. Well, I don't know what the difficulty was with the other one. This one just sort of slid right on. There we go. Okay. There's that one. See, we've only got 2 of the pages on, but it's already super chunky. So the third one, I'm going to do this one upside down also. This is going to go like this. There. Again, take your time with these. Hope you can see. I've got it close to me because it's the only way I can get it on there. And just be careful with all these flips and flaps that you're getting it onto the into the correct spot. Definitely a pain in the neck to do this, but it's such a nice feeling when it's done. But you can see, I don't know, I definitely prefer decorating my books once they're in the book. Having all that stuff on them makes it much more difficult. I know it's easier to do the actual decorating when it's out of the book, but getting the pages in the book when they're already decorated, as you can see, is not a good time. Here we go. All right. There we go. a chunky book. We haven't even added anything to it already, and it's already chunky. Wow. All right, well, I hope that didn't frighten you because it was not the easiest job in the world. But, and just go through, turn your pages, you know, get them, you know, used to being turned. So they're going to be a little stiff when you first put them in with all this bulk. Okay, I guess I can take my little sticky off, I think. There we go. All right, we should be very proud of ourselves. We've got a lot done. We've made 2 books that are almost entirely decorated, at least with the base mats, and are ready to move on to some of the more fun stuff. Okay, I'm not sure how long that took, but I think that we should perhaps stop now. I've got to trim this ribbon, it's definitely too long. And next, I've already picked out what we're going to use for the covers. So next time we will put on whatever closure that we end up deciding to use. And I think this book in particular is going to require a closure because I intend to add lots of stuff and it's probably going to get quite chunky. And I'm leaning towards one of my usual closures that I use a lot, where I bring a ribbon around to the front and just clip it here, because I want to do something kind of fancy on the cover and I don't want to interfere with that by doing, you know, like a clasp on the front or something like that. So that's what I'm leaning towards for this book. This book I may take a bit of a wait and see, because I intend it to be pretty simple. It may not even require a closure. We'll see. But anyway, so here we are. We have our 2 books, making lots and lots of progress. And next week, or not next week, next video, we're going to work on the covers. We still have some mats to put in, and we'll see where we're at. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this one wasn't too intimidating and difficult looking for you. It wasn't that bad, and well worth it in the end. So I will see you next time, and if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I really appreciate it, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.